Oh, Pearson gets it in the 95 of Folks. Here comes the caution.
Flag is dropped here at Daytona and away. Joe for the first time. Nicholas Borcel, Sean.
Looks like most get through unscathed. Look at that, there's Reed Gibson. A big move at the inside line of Dom's, possibly a little bit of contact.
Now as we've got 3-wide action going through turns 1 and 2.
And they're underway. Eric Hahn takes a nice jump. Wilson hasn't let him go very far.
Go out here for Circuit Spa Francorchamps. Alex Johnson's off to a brilliant start there.
Just how oddly shaped this one is. We saw in the background Eric Hahn go for a bit of a swing, and he's gone and he's over.
New stuff. Cody Graham's the one-on-one up into second place. Alex Johnson 6/10 the lead at the moment.
They're dicey up front. There's Andrew Kessel, Justin Sang.
They are ready to go. The lights are out and away we go for the very first time here at Okayama International Circuit. Finley Fitzsimmons.
Good evening, race fans. Welcome back to the Detroit SCCA Sim Series. It is Season 2, Round 1, a brand new series for the Spec Forward Racers. We make our way back out to Virginia International Raceway, where we're going to see about, I think it's 18 drivers coming out tonight to put on a show. As always, I'm your host, James East, with Team Goon Squad Broadcasting. Breathe the action, 1080p, 60 frames a second. And I'm accompanied by the world-famous Nick Rennell. I said that right, Nick?
Yes, sir. How's it going, James?
Good, man. Good to have you up in the booth. First time calling a virtual race, I believe. So what are you thinking is going to happen here tonight?
Man, I'm excited to see the season get kicked off. A spring series. Got how many we got? 5, 6 races coming up?
Yeah, jam on. I think it's a 6-race season, so going to be excited to see what these guys can do. We've got also Alex De La Torre join us. Alex, say hello to the fans.
Hello, fans. How's everybody doing? And just to correct, this is a 7-race season series.
7 races.
We are throwing it. Yeah, we're throwing in a non-SCCA sanctioned track. Actually, it does do SCCA Pro Racing, but we're going to be doing the Detroit Belle Isle Grand Prix track, which is, of course, what everybody in Detroit wants to run at some point in their life. So that's our quote-unquote 7th edition and track.
Now, awesome. Alex, I see a number 79 machine peeking his head in the broadcast booth. Who do we have joining us here tonight?
Hey, how's it going? It's Richard.
Richard, welcome to the broadcast
Richard
booth.
Scheib.
Yeah, there we go. Take it away, Alex.
No, so Richard Scheib is one of our local racers at Waterford Hills. Got to do some wheel-to-wheel racing with him down at Sebring in the new year as well, and he is helping us continue on with this endeavor. And his company, we're going to let him talk about it in a second. The Whitlam Group is sponsoring us this time around. So take it away, Richard. Tell us a little bit about Whitlam Group.
Yeah, we are a printing and converting company. We've been around since the 50s. It's a family-owned company in heart of Metro Detroit. Used to be super heavily involved in automotive, still are, but branched off to a lot of other things. We do, if you think about it, everything you buy has a label on it of some sort, and we do everything from your tire pressure labels on, big OEMs, all the way to salsa labels. But yeah, we've been around for a while. It's great to support the track that I know and love, that I have, got to spend a good amount of time running with this awesome community on.
Now, Richard, you talked about having a lot of experience at Waterford Hills. Is that where you started your real life racing career? What came first, iRacing or the Waterford Hills racing?
A little bit of iRacing first, but it was a lot of in the beginning. It was grew up on racing video games, and then once I had the wheels to go actually do it, I was like, all right, well, let's try these track days. And then that turned into a couple years later doing bracket races, which is kind of like that bridge between the OTDs and then the competition racing. And then had an accident, and instead of fixing that car, I just went head first, got a Miata, went right for the driver's school.
Now, Richard, with your racing background and then the Whitlam Group having a heavy background in that auto industry, I was checking out all the customers you guys have had in the past. I mean, 25 plus years, big auto OE customers. Did that kind of influence you, being with that background with your family-owned business, to get into the racing side of the industry?
Well, it's so yes, for sure. But also, my dad was big into just cars in general. But he actually, back in the day when they did karting, shifter karts at Waterford, he had some friends that they went up there, and just watching him and working on cars with him, and kind of was the start of all that. And then it just snowballed. You got bit by the racing bug.
Nice, and I'm going to jump in real quick. So Richard's biggest fan is his dad, and from what I understand, he logs in to watch his races. So Richard, you got to give him a shout out.
Oh, of course. Yeah, Dad, if you're watching, for sure. Shout out to you. Wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for you.
And I've got another one for you, Richard. So we've got a lot of racing enthusiasts that join us for these shows, on and off the track, fans, racers, and family. What can those people do to support you that's supporting Waterford Hills with the Whitlam Group? Who do we need to send to you that maybe is looking for some new labels for their small or big business?
Yeah. Hey, honestly, any kind of label of that would go on packaging, food containers. We do so much, a wide range of stuff. Anybody who's got any packaging or labeling needs, definitely send it this way. Metro Detroit or farther out. Always happy to, especially help out this community.
Well, very cool, Richard. We super
Awesome,
appreciate it.
Richard.
Alex, do you have anything else for the young driver of the 79 machine?
No, I'm looking forward to him breathing down my neck over at Waterford Hills. He was super fast in driver school last year. He was super fast on track. Had a blast with him at Sebring, and he's just one of these young up and coming drivers that he's honing his skills, and he's on my rear bumper. So for those of you that want to come out and watch Richard and I go at it, waterfordhills.com. 6 race season over at Waterford Hills, and come check us out live racing.
And Richard, before I let you go, what position are we going to see that 79 machine finishing in tonight?
Well, we're working towards a top 10, and I'm okay with anything in there.
And Richard, super cool to have you up here supporting the on-track and virtual track shenanigans here at the DRSCCA. Always a great time talking to you. You're not out on track, you're joining us in the spectator area, cheering your friends on. So super cool, very appreciated. And before I let you go and kind of maybe turn in some laps in the warm-up, who do you want to give a shout to that's supporting you on the track, on the virtual track, as well as the family business? Any shout-outs? The floor is yours, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, my dad for sure. Also Richard Sr. Family for coming out to the track and supporting. Even people at the shop. Jim, Kim, friends at home, Celeste, Nick. There's too many names. A lot of friends that actually came to spectate. So it's awesome to have a group like that.
Well, checkers or wreckers, glad you're able to put on a show for everybody. Richard, best of luck out on track. We super appreciate the time, as well as all you guys are doing over at the Whitlam Group, whitlam.com. Thank you again so much, and best of luck. Hopefully we'll see you in the top 3 here soon.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. So, Alex, that was Richard Shape with the Whitlam Group, looking for a good show out of that 79 machine tonight. And you were spot on. We talked about it before the broadcast, but, man, what a likable personality on and off the track.
Absolutely, man. I'm telling you, it's a pleasure to race with anybody who recognizes you're not just a helmet out there, right? There's nothing better than, being able to share a beer or give a hug to the guy that you were racing with on track. Because sometimes racers take themselves a little bit too seriously, and humility to me is number one in racing, right? I'm looking forward to the day that Richard beats me on track, right? That's a pleasure. When somebody's humble and kind, that's great. When somebody's arrogant, that's the last person you want to beat you.
Exactly. Yes, sir. I agree. Now, Nick, we're going to tag you back in here tonight. Now, your background, I believe I heard you've called some autocross racing in the past, maybe some stuff over at Waterford Hills, if I heard right?
A little bit of autocross. Definitely went around the Waterford Hills a couple times. Have not announced yet. Alex, you know how Alex is. He's pulling me in pretty strongly this year. So hopefully you'll be hearing me at Waterford Hills this year.
We're going to get him up there in the tower. We're going to get him up there announcing. And I love the fact that we mentioned Waterford Hills a lot because they are probably our biggest supporter that we've got. That is our local track. That is our proving ground for flaggers, for marshals. Let's not forget our other sponsors, the Michigan Turn Marshals. Those guys, I'm sure, are logged in and watching. Also want to give a shout out to Scott Chaikin, who is, and he and I are going to be in the background, and he's going to be officiating with me. So just in case anybody has any protests at the end of this, sim racing, just like real life racing, people like to chime in with that stuff. And there's another sponsor I want to give a shout out to, and that's superlap.world, a local sim racing shop that provides you with the opportunity to try before you buy or join their leagues as well. They'll be promoting our leagues. So feeling the love from all of our sponsors all around. I just can't say enough. Thank you. The Detroit region is very grateful to have so much support and understanding that, once again, we are bridging the gap between real world racing and simulation racing. This bridge is going to be strong.
Yeah, good crossover between. I really liked. I was checking out the Super Lap website before the show coming into tonight, and they've got multiple sim rigs set up ready to go. And as you said, gives a chance for some of the DRSCCA drivers that maybe haven't dipped their toes in the sim racing world yet, a chance to go by, see what they like, what they don't like. And then those guys have private league races. They have AI races as well. And I believe they also have a feature where they can help you build a sim rig out. So I'm a big proponent of the crossover between the sim and the real world racing. And as Nick talked to me earlier about one wadded up race car, and now he's a little bit more into the sim racing, but it's an excellent crossover and really cheap seat time for the money.
Excellent. Well, I'm going to get out of your guys' hair because Three's Company, just please giving all of our sponsors lots of love, and I'm going to go join Scott and do some officiating in the background. Thank you both for everything.
No worries. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you, Alex.
That was Alex Delatorre joining us up here in the spectator area room. He's got to go do some race control shenanigans now. But, Nick, we've got about less than a minute, a little over a minute and a half left in this warm-up. What's your predictions here at VIR? We had some great racing last season when we came out to Virginia's finest Raceway. Are we going to see more of the same? And do you have a favorite to bring home a win here in the season opener?
I mean, we've definitely had some strong people in the winter series there. Elliott, Ryan, Arend, and Russell finishing strong in the season points. So, we'll see if it's more of the same or if somebody else put in a little extra practice over the last week and can bring home a podium.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see what Ryan Carlisle, that 71 machine, can do out here. He was second in points in the championship, finishing out behind Elliott Budzinski, that number 91 machine, and Ari Ritter, also a top contender, I would say, finished third in the points, so had a great run last season, and now a lot of these guys a little bit more familiar with iRacing, how the car handles compared to their real-world counterparts. So, personally, I'm expecting these guys are only going to get faster coming into this season.
Definitely the beauty of sim racing. You get to do cheap, and you can just pound in the miles, and the experience just, it only gets better.
Yeah, and then, I'm a road racer, a sport bike guy by trade, so even that's considerably more affordable than car racing, even at the cheap end if you're doing, chump car or lemons or something of the sort. But, this is the best way to scratch that adrenaline itch that I've been able to find so far.
And it's a fantastic tool. It was when I did my first Lemons race. I'd done a bunch of open track days, and I was very comfortable behind the wheel. But the ability to get out and experience what other real people will do in these situations is just it's a fantastic way to get that experience. And it really helped in my Lemons race. There was times I was 3 wide going down a straight and crossing over behind a guy, and I'd learned it all thanks to iRacing, and it's just a great tool.
I got to agree with you. Looks like the warm-up is set, and I'm going to run us through the grid here at the season opener. On pole, Russell Soto, the number 50 machine. Sean Fritz starting second. Ryan Carwile starting third. Robert Kucera starting fourth. Ray Hilbert starting fifth. Ari Ritter starting sixth. Michael Schmidt starts seventh. Andrew Gross starting eighth. Matthew Malone starts ninth. Richard Shea, you talked to him before the show, starting 10th. Jason Williams starts 11th. Mike Knutson starting 12th. Let's cycle it on back. We've got Dominic Bates starting 13th. Logan McDonough starting 14th. William Lamb starts 15th. David Grzinski starting 16th. Abdul Huda starting 17th. Edwin Chu starting 18th. And then we've got Alejandro De La Torre showing up on the grid. He's going to be race control tonight, as well as Scott Chaikin. And then Garrett Whitson is going to round out the 19 true drivers out on track here tonight. So, Nick, we've got a long pacing lap here at Virginia. Drivers have a lot of time to kind of get queued up, ready to go. What do you think's going through their heads here on the season opener?
I mean, it's that first run down into corner one and that horseshoe, and anything can happen when you get a couple wide and you get one guy going deep and a little bit wider, and then they head it back into corner three, and it gets hectic. You gotta kind of map out what can happen in those first couple, depending on who's around you and what position you're in.
Yeah, generally I think if you can survive the first half of a lap in a very busy field, you're going to be all right. But I'm also interested to see, last time we were here, we saw a ton of bump drafting to the point where drivers were damaging the front bodywork on these spec Ford racers. So it seems like drivers have a tough time kind of breaking away from the rest of the field with how strong the draft is here at Virginia.
Yeah, you've definitely got some of these long straights, good opportunity to build up a lot of speed, and if that guy in front of you is punching a hole in the air, then yeah, we'll have to see what happens. Hopefully not too much damage bodywork.
Now, Nick, do you have experience running at VIR in these machines, either virtual or real life at all?
I have gone around VIR a couple times. Can't say I've done it in Spec Racer Ford, but heck of a track. Definitely hoping to get out there in real life someday. But yeah.
Well, I've raced on the South track here in Virginia. Never ran the full course, and it's a deceptively tough course to navigate. So it's gonna be interesting. Yeah, exactly. It's I forget the mileage off the cuff, but it's a super long track and very tough to memorize all the corners and hit your marks perfectly.
It is. And sometimes the markers are a little bit hidden for some of these corners. You're not exactly sure where your turn-in is, where your brake point is. And after a certain point, you're going off feel and what the guy in front of you is doing.
Now, speaking of the course hitting the marks and everything, I want to give another shout out as well to one of our sponsors, the Michigan Turn Marshals. If you want to get in close to the action, be sure to check out MichiganTurnMarshals.org. They're at every track from Waterford Hills Raceway. They're the guys officiating the Detroit Grand Prix, so always appreciate them. And Nick, I think I just saw a hardware failure at the back. Garrett Whitson underpacing, way off course to number 21.
I saw a spin for sure. Let me check the replay here.
Luckily, we can do that. So we got the replay queued up on the broadcast. Let's see,
as he comes around Oak Tree in the back. I think it was as he was getting on the straight.
Yeah, it was a little bit of texting and driving. We got the replay queued up on the broadcast.
Maybe.
Yeah, it seemed like he got off in the marbles, took evasive, trying to warm up his tires, I think.
I think so.
Well, that's a replay he's going to wish did not exist, I think. But we are gridded up.
Back in.
Yeah, we got our field formed up behind the iRacing safety car. A little bit less than 2/10 of a lap left here. And it's going to be Soto, Fritz on the front row, Carwile, Kucera that second row. I'm interested. Carwile in the past at 71 has been a driver not afraid to link up bodywork. But, Nick, the safety car is in, and it is time to go racing here at VIR.
Soto with a strong start. Ryan gets up into second behind him. Little jump.
Yeah, behind them, I think that's going to be Ray Hilbert and Sean Fritz side by side for fourth, trying to track down the 177 of Kucera as we lead our field into turn one. Now, only a 30-minute sprint race here tonight, so not a ton of time to really try and make moves. And in these Spec Ford cars, if you make a single mistake, it takes quite a while to build up that momentum once more, get back into the mix. So, going to be interesting.
Very strategic.
As we saw a lot of attrition last time we were here. Looks like Fritz and Ritter are going to have a battle for fifth. Fritz dipping a couple tires off in the left. Ritter finished third in the championship. We know he has pace as they pull up along side by side. And that's probably one of my favorite parts. Every time we pan the camera, there's some sort of side-by-side action we can find here each and every Tuesday night.
Yeah. Oh. Good racing between these guys, keeping it calm. They know they gotta do what they gotta do. They gotta stay in it.
Yeah, looks like Ritter is gonna hold on to that fifth place spot, but they
Fritz
are
under attack.
Yeah, Fritz is. He's got Gross, Schmidt, Scheib, Malone, Williams, Bates, Newton, a big old grid. Now up front, Soto has company as well as we pan back to the race leader, the number 50 machine. Soto has Carwile.
Ryan.
Yeah, Carwile all over the back bodywork there. And about 3/4 of a second back, that's Ray Hilbert, Robert Kucera also working the draft, trying to keep these top two within striking distance. Now we're going to get panned over here. On board with Kucera and the 177 machine. Had a little bit of a bobble. Is going to fall about 6/10 back from Hilbert. And it doesn't look like Carwile is going to give Soto any chance of reprieve here. Look, there it is. Little bit of a bump there between the two.
Just letting him know he's there. Keeping him honest.
And that's interesting, Nick. So Soto just clicked off the fastest lap of the race, a 2:06.72. So that bump draft, I think, helped propel him forward a little bit. I wonder if Carwile and Soto maybe working together here a little bit, saying, hey, let's try and make this a 2-car shootout at the end instead of a 6-car shootout, because it is a meat grinder from 6th place back. As you're watching Fritz and Gross still side by side, Michael Schmidt in the 129, he's got a great view of the action ahead.
Definitely. Fritz looking like Kimi Magnussen at the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, holding people up.
Yeah, very tough. And as you and I talked about earlier on the show, almost impossible to get much of a breakaway, especially when you're in a pack, elbows out, everybody jockeying for position. And every time these guys go side by side, punches a bigger hole in the air for the guys behind and allows them to catch up, close the gap. So I'm almost thinking that's why we're seeing Soto and Carwile not really fighting too much here, trying to get that breakaway, but we still have 19 drivers out on track. And, ooh, I saw somebody dipping a tire there. Not quite sure who it was, but things are getting a little bit exciting. I think that might have been Scheib in the 79.
Getting excited. Using the whole track.
Yeah, the bump drafting still in effect. Yes, so
second.
Yeah, if we go back to Soto,
to the rest, yeah.
So these top 4 drivers have built up a 3-second advantage over Ari Ritter in 5th. Ritter, let's pan the camera over there to Ritter in the 19 machine. Oh, that was Fritz. There we go. Got it on Ritter, the 27, excuse me. Kind of in no man's land. He's 3.3 seconds back from the top 4. Has a full 1.5 seconds, but something has happened. Kucera coming down pit road in the 177.
Oh, no.
It is very early in this race to have a drive-through penalty. Ray Hilbert sitting in 3rd. The 33 clicks off a new fastest lap of the race, a 2:03.33. And then let's watch what happens here in turn 1 as Gross.
Ooh,
Might have gotten a little bit of help there. And that was Michael Schmidt in the 129 locking up.
Oh, Schmidt falling back. Down 4 places from a start.
Yeah, and he's got Mike Knudsen, the 383, going to quickly give chase here. But I saw another off track on my software. It looked like William Lamb had a little bit of a bobble. He's going to lose a spot to Logan McDonough, falling back to the 14th place position. And I'm going to see here, try and see if we can get an onboard with, let's go to Jason Williams, no, Matthew Malone, who I think might have just missed a shift there.
Oh, if you get a bad run up this section of VIR, you are in trouble.
Yeah, that is a long time to think about your life choices as Matthew Malone continues to fall back a little bit. So Jason Williams, Dominic Bates are going to get a little bit of a give me there as they pull away from that 10th place driver. But it seems like things are getting a little bit spread out here. Now the top 2 drivers still linked up nose to tail, and another crash report.
Oh.
I think that was Abdul and Edwin Choose. Let's get a replay queued up for the fans. And it
Just 'cause we're at
started.
the back of the field doesn't mean it's not any more intense.
Trying to see what happened. It looked like it was a solo car incident.
Oh.
Yeah, they both. It was followed the leader.
Mm-hmm. If you don't keep your eyes on your marks. Oh, and then Abdul plows into him.
Yeah, Abdul just
Oh,
absolutely
no.
punished the number 12 machine there, and I think both drivers just didn't yield at all there. It was a moment that got out of control and got worse very quickly. And unfortunately, I think it's going to put 2 drivers out of the running here.
Oh, man, what a bummer. Looks like we have a second place change up here. We have Hilbert on top of Soto. Carwile on top of Hilbert.
Yeah, things switching up a little bit here. So that's going to be the 3rd spot gain for that 33 machine. Interesting. I mean, the top 3 were able to break away, though, but I thought that Carwile was going to be happy sitting in 2nd for a little bit. And another crash reported, Nick. It's going to be Dave Grzinski and I think maybe William Lamb tied up in one. Might have gotten into each other, so we're focused in on Lamb and the number 8 machine. And let's see what happens here. Loses the back end in 1.
Oh, does he? Oh,
Yeah,
no.
just a little bit of a tap there.
Got to keep those eyes up if you see somebody losing it in front of you. I think a lot of people don't want to sacrifice their lap, but, you know, if you crash into that guy, then it's going to hurt your lap a lot more than being a little bit cautious coming up to it.
Yeah, I'd rather give up a half second to avoid an incident rather than trying to muscle through the remaining 22 some odd minutes of this feature event with some sort of damage. Now it looks like we still have all 19 drivers that entered out on track, so the attrition hasn't been too bad here tonight. But look at Richard Shade, the 79. He was getting some love from the fans earlier as well, and he is charging forward. That was Nicholas Block giving that 79 machine some love. So I'm going to be interested to see, can Shape keep the hammer down, because he's all over the back of Gross and that student driver back 69.
Gross doing good, up 2 positions. Rich behind him, up 3.
And it looks like, Nick, it's going to be Garrett Whitson and the 21 machine who finds himself taking an alternative line here, but he's still our hard charger of the night here. He's up 6 positions from where he started. A relative newcomer here at the DRSCCA Virtual League, so good to see him charging forward. And again, just great action everywhere. You're watching Williams, Malone, Knutson battling back and forth, and here comes Michael Schmidt to get a piece of this action as well, trying to grab a top 10 now. Schmidt still down 4 spots from where he originally qualified tonight, but now he's got a pack of drivers. And I mean, you and I both have racing experience. You can attest it's much easier to hammer down when you got that rabbit that chased in front of you.
Absolutely.
Oh, something just happened. We just lost Jason Williams out of this pack.
Oh, no. We have the 5 car off.
So
It's mayhem.
Yeah, let's see what happened to Williams here.
Took a little bit too much curb coming in there.
Yeah, just pushes wide, loses the back end.
Yeah.
Thankfully, the rest of the field was able to avoid him there, because we've seen it, I think, twice so far this evening. Very easy to have a compounding incident as Fritz is off an oak tree.
Oh no, Fritz. Yeah, going back to those oversteers and spins down there in 4 and 5A, it's such an important corner to get out of quickly and to keep your speed up as you head up the hill there. And I think a lot of these guys are pushing it a little too much.
Yeah, I got to agree with you, man. I think these guys are on the absolute ragged edge, and that's kind of what it takes to go fast here, especially with how deep the field is stacked on talent. I mean, we've got a very healthy mix of guys that have tons of real-world driving experience and those that have tons of sim racing experience. So a very, very healthy mix of talent out on track as we watch Gross and Shabe still linked up 5th and 6th. Now, up front, it is still a 3-car freight train as we watch Soto, Hilbert, and Carwile through.
I got to give Soto a shout-out for keeping his cool under this. He's got 2 really fast guys right on top of him lap after lap, and he is not making mistakes.
Yeah, it's very, very tough to be the fastest driver in that number 1 spot. You don't have the draft to work with. You don't have somebody to kind of chase that rabbit to chase in the hound dog explanation that we've called. And as a racer, when the guy's right in front of you, it kind of gives you somebody to match, somebody's lines to mimic, maybe pick up on something that you didn't quite have dialed in. But when you're up front, no such luck. You're kind of on your own and trying to keep your head out of the rearview mirror and avoid what's going on behind you.
And it's hard not to look in those mirrors when you know those guys are all over top you, and you need to keep hitting your marks, and Soto's doing a great job.
Yeah, these guys are doing fantastic, and Gross, that 69 machine, getting some love from the fans as well. He's got Corey G joining the YouTube, cheering him on. Andrew's still up 3 spots, but Shabe in that number 79, he's driving a little bit of fire underneath him. In the pre-race interview, we heard the driver of that 79 machine go, hey, I'd be super pumped for a top 10 here tonight, the season opener. Now, all of a sudden, he's fighting for a top 5, something that was well and above his expectations.
No, definitely. He's putting in the work. Oh, he's close. Oh, he doesn't want to go for the pass. Oh, that might have been an opportunity for Shabe.
Yeah,
I think he might have forgotten how much left he had on that straight there.
Oh, and then a lockup from Gross.
Oh, they are pushing it. This is great racing.
Yeah, this is a ton of fun to watch. These guys are putting on a fantastic show, and I mean, this is the battle for 5th right now. If we go back up front to Soto as they cross the line, they are still linked up. I see a huge puff of smoke in turn 1. I think that was Garrett Whitson, the 21, having a bit of an off-track excursion, but still, thankfully, 18 drivers out on track here tonight. No, 19 drivers.
Rich has a run on Andrew. He's on the outside.
Do we get the camera pan back over? Yeah, Gross guarding that inside.
Oh, man. Gross doing a great job on the defense.
Yeah, Shai was trying to get that high-low maneuver going. Now, what I'm a little bit worried about is that going to slow down the pace and maybe allow Matthew Malone, the number 7, right back up into the mix. We talked about the race leaders, but the guys battling for the top 5, they would much rather have a 2-car shootout, especially if you're piloting that number 79 machine of Richard Shabe. He does not want to have somebody else contending with Gross. I would imagine Shabe, with his real-world racing background, would be super content to wait until it's 29 minutes left to go before he hops out of line and then tries to deny Gross the top 5.
And you can see him building confidence in some of these passing maneuvers. He's definitely waiting it out. He's going to be real strategic with it.
Yeah, I think so. That's a lot of good racecraft. I mean, I've called literally hundreds of iRacing events at this point in my career, but I've got to say these are some of the most race-oriented drivers I've had the pleasure of calling so far. And what I mean by that is they're thinking about the long run. These guys are used to having to fix their own machines if there's an incident, so a little bit less likely to lick the stamp and send it. As I say that, Shabe's going for it.
Rich with the pass on Andrew. It's been a long time coming. Rich up 5 positions into that 5th place spot.
Yeah, that's going to put Rich as the hard charger so far as well. Qualified P10 has moved all the way up to 5th. We have another incident reported. Uh-oh, that's Mike Knutson and Dominic Bates involved. And we get the replay queued up. Let's see what happened to the 383 in the number 10 machine. If I had a bet, I think there's going to be some rearward contact here.
Called it. Came in a little hot. Oh, no.
So I think both drivers kind of came to a stop. Bates throwing the virtual hand out the window saying, hey, I'm terribly sorry for that, because nothing but respect amongst all these drivers. But look at this, Shabe and Gross still going at it. We've got to interview Rich more often before a race, because it has lit a fire underneath that 79 machine that we have not seen in seasons past.
Andrew with that inside line, though. Oh, if he can just get a touch. Ooh,
a little bit of contact.
Oh, Rich with the inside.
And look, Nick, I talked about it. Here comes Matthew Malone closing the gap.
He's less than a half a second behind him, and he's coming on strong. He didn't have the slow exit from that corner.
Yeah, he's running the optimal race line here as Shabe and Gross hopping around curbs. Gross way off.
Oh, and Malone through. Oh, not yet.
Did he? It's going to set him up for Oak Hill here. Can he still get the inside line in the corner exit?
Oh, he's being careful. Oh, he's being cautious. Oh, Gross.
Oh no, Gross. What's this? That was lap traffic throwing a little bit of a curb. Yeah, that was Abdul. The number 18 machine had some problems out of Oak Hill and almost got involved. But so that has allowed Shabe to check out in 5th. He's got a second advantage. And here comes Michael Schmidt, the 129, looking for some redemption.
Oh, he's going to get past both of them.
He's going to make it a 2-for-1.
Oh, Andrew on the brakes, going off.
Oh, not even close.
Andrew. Oh, and then Schmidt.
No.
Off too. Malone taking advantage of the battle. Malone up into 6.
There's a little bit of contact there, upsets the cars. There goes Gross. And then Schmidt just threw it away by himself and lawn darted it.
I think he dipped a wheel. I think he went a little bit deep in that right, and I think he dipped a wheel and he lost it.
Goodness gracious. So while we have a smidgen of a break in the action, there hasn't been much of one. I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors as well, supporting the DRSCCA. Over 1,400 members here at the DRSCCA, so there is no shortage of knowledge, history, trailblazing ideas like this sim series you can find and join for free. Running the Spec Fords Tuesday nights and the Spec Miatas on Thursday nights, both series broadcasted. So check them out. Support our guys over the DRSCCA virtually and the real world. In 2024, they're hosting over 40 events, 60 days, and you can get behind the wheel or close to it. If you go out to Waterford Hills Racing, another great sponsor of ours, only $5 to watch the action. They're Metro Detroit's only permanent sanctioned road course. They're going to be hosting a 6-weekend race series this year, competition driving schools, 9 public open track days, so you can get your start like Mr. Nick up here in the booth. Track is hot from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and is open to the public only a whopping $5. So check them out, waterfordhills.com.
Only 0.6 of a second separating the top 3 right now. Oh, we're up to 0.7.
Yeah, this is very, very close. So as you said, it's Soto, Hilbert, Carlisle, 1, 2, 3. The field staying very close between these guys. And I'm curious to see if we go back. Fritz looking for some redemption as well. He's side by side with Gross. Now, one of the saving graces that Gross has here is I did not see any big contact yet.
Ooh, deep braking from Gross there.
Yeah, it looked like the car was all right with the off-track excursion, but if you plow into the guy in front of you, that's going to really damage the bodywork on this thing. And right behind them, that is Michael Schmidt and Logan McDonough. Schmidt takes an off-track excursion coming to the final corner.
And then Newton through.
So, Nick, we're a little bit past the halfway mark, just about 10 minutes left to go. What's your predictions? I mean, are we going to see a clean finish to the line with these top 3, or is there still time to wad up some perfectly good race cars?
I'm going to make a conservative prediction here. I think Soto has been dominant this whole race. He's held up to the pressure. I think only 10 minutes left to go. I think Soto is going to bring it home.
Nick,
a little bit of a boring prediction, but
are you familiar with the commentator's curse?
Oh, I am.
So you have to be careful here, because if you're saying Soto is your odds-on favorite, the broadcaster's curse runs true. So that means the number 50 machine no longer has Lady Luck on his side as Hilbert and Carlisle both kicking up some dirt out of Oak Tree. And it seems to me like they're happy pacing the number 50 machine. I haven't seen any big jabs from either of these guys in a while.
No, they are just on top of each other. 3/10 right now between the three. Holy.
Yeah, tightens up on the straights. They give each other plenty of breathing room in the corners to avoid any sort of contact there. So it'll spread out through this second bit of winding track before we come out to the final corner. And then, oh, it looks like a little bit of a bobble from Carlisle, but watch. So it's about 7/10 separating all three. And I'm predicting it's going to be nose to bumper again by the time we're to turn 1.
Definitely. I'm not sure if I'm more impressed by the gap they've drawn on the rest of the field or the small gaps they're maintaining with each other without colliding.
Yeah, super consistent among these top three. I mean, everybody in the top three has a bunch of sim racing experience. I believe they've all got real-world driving experience as well. I was reading the driver intros and bios before the show here tonight. And as predicted, after the start-finish line, they're once again nose to tail. Now, last time we were here, we saw Carlisle really working the bump draft to the point where he actually damaged the nose off that 71. So I think he's going to be a little bit more conservative on this one as far as pushing his friends. But you know who's not taking a break, Nick? Sean Fritz and Andrew Gross.
Gross. I think Andrew was ahead there for a sec. It looks like Fritz popped back in front of him. Oh, Fritz very defensive in this corner, though. You can tell. He's watching Andrew.
Yeah, this is going to be continue to be exciting. Now, we have another off-track reported with Logan McDonough in the number 32 machine. Now, Logan's still up 4 spots, but this is the point of the race, Nick, where the tires are going to start to fall off for these drivers as well. Looking at the top 3 times, everybody is over a second slower than their fastest lap of the race. And, I mean, the top 3, they really haven't been side by side that much. If anything, they're doing everything the most optimal way, staying in line, working the draft together, and they're still a second off pace.
And with the lowering of the fuel, burning off the fuel, you'd think that they'd be going a little bit quicker. So that is interesting.
Yeah, we need to talk to the racers. What did you see?
Andrew Gross just getting a little bit loose there in Oak Tree. Drops back a little bit from Kucera.
So yeah, he's gonna lose. Oh man, he's about 3 seconds back from Fritz now, and that puts Kucera within 2 seconds. Now, for the most part, the field pretty spread out at this point. You've got your top 3 drivers separated by not even a half second as we go up front. Make it 3/10 between the top 3. And then you've got Michael Schmidt and Mike Knutson having a battle for 11th. Everybody else kind of hot lapping at this point, maybe trying to manage the tires a little bit better. And I think that's what's going on in the top 3 as well. Part of the reason we're seeing the lap times fall off is a little bit of tire attrition, but also not wanting to use up more rubber than the guy in front of you before it's time to throw the elbows out and make something happen.
Definitely. No, and that's definitely a less experienced iRacer. I know when I start feeling my tires go off, a lot of my confidence goes out the window, and especially for a lot of these, mid-pack drivers, it's staying conservative gets important.
Yeah, I agree, especially if you haven't been in that situation before. You talked about it early on, how iRacing gave you a little bit of confidence when going wheel to wheel, but if you're experiencing, either wheel to wheel or tire fall off for the first time, if it's a new and foreign concept, I mean, you hit it on the money, it can really drain the confidence super quickly, and no racer likes unknown situations. We're all creatures of habit. We know what works well and what doesn't. If you're not used to being out of that comfort zone, it can be a little intimidating at times, I would say.
Definitely. And that's a lot of these looking like the last 4 drivers on track here have been lapped. And that's another aspect of this. When you're starting to lose your tires and you see faster guys coming up behind you, you don't want to get in their way. And so far it looks like everything's going okay, but a lot going on here in the end of the race.
Yeah, Soto and Hilbert briefly swapped positions. Soto did not give Hilbert a chance to lead a lap here. Quickly threw it right back in front of that 33 machine. Looks
Oh,
like
man.
something has happened. Andrew Gross loses a spot to Robert Kucera, and it looks like, I believe...
I think Richard just got passed by Matthew Malone coming
Yeah.
down the main straight there.
Speaking of straights, look at this, Nick. The battle for the lead continues. Soto and Hilbert continue to put on a show, and I think Carlisle's just kind of watching and waiting.
Yeah, no. It's getting towards that last 5 minutes here, and these guys know that something's got to happen soon.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see how this is going to pan out. I'm extremely interested to see what Carlisle is going to do here. We haven't really seen him show and nose too much against these top 2 drivers in a while. So I think he's just kind of biding his time. He was second in the points last season. And I think he's got championships on his mind here tonight. And unfortunately, Nick, we have another off-track reported for that oh-so-loved 69 machine. Andrew Gross is starting to have exponential problems here.
Yeah.
Yeah, just pushed wide through one, a little bit of a lockup.
Just starting to lose those tires a little bit. Less grip than you start the race with.
Yeah, tough to manage. And want to give another shout out to a couple of our sponsors. We've been talking about Richard Scheib a bunch. A big shout out to Whitlam Group coming on board this season. Your first choice for all your labeling needs. Whitlam Group provides a variety of labeling solutions, including packaging, promotional, engineering, brand security, print on demand, as well as custom solutions. Located in Centerline, Michigan, Whitlam has a heart as big as their labeling options. They give back a ton to their local community. They support projects such as the Children's Hospital of Michigan, Adopt a Child Project, Sweet Dreams Projects, COTS Detroit, Animal Welfare Society, and much more. So check them out, our friends over at whitlam.com.
Lots of drama in the front. Ray Hilbert temporarily in the lead coming down the main straight, but Russell got him back in roller coaster.
Yeah, just great racing all across, and Carlisle hops out of the draft there a little bit. Interesting before going into one. Maybe looking for a little bit of clean track, but I believe if I'm doing my napkin math right, I think the white flag will be out next time by. I don't think they're going to take the checkered this time by. So it is a 30-minute race. So if we hit the 30-minute mark, no matter what for the leaders, the checkered flag will come out. And we've been talking about Scheib a bunch, but man, he's put on a show, that number 79. Battling hard with Matthew Malone. Malone is up 4 spots. Scheib currently up 4 as well. And hard charge is still going to be Garrett Wilson running 15th, up 6 spots here tonight.
Absolutely. Lots of movement. Lots of great racing. Matthew Malone, though, I'm very impressed with that.
Yeah, he's been making big moves here in that number 7 machine and running extremely consistently as well. So that's, I think, is what we're going to see deciding the championship, much like we did last season as well. It was a combination of the fastest drivers as well as the most consistent drivers. We would consistently see, maybe not always at the podium, but just about always in the top 5 and running very, very smooth. And you can also see Sean Fritz, the red, white, and blue number 19 machine, trying to catch back up here. And here we go again, Nick, the battle for the lead. It's a draft pass between Hilbert and Carlisle. And no, look at that, Carlisle, 2 for 1.
Oh, he's thinking about it. Running out of track, though.
Oh, there goes Carlisle.
Got to run.
Nobody lifting there, so Hilbert is going to come out with the race lead, a half second up over Soto. I think, yes, they're going to take the white flag this time by, as that was Garrett Whitson coming down pit road. I think he saw the race leaders behind him and said, you know what, this seems like a good opportunity to respect the blue flag and hop out of the way. But Hilbert, as they cross the line, what I believe is going to be the final time, has about a half second advantage going into turn 1. Suddenly, Soto and Carlisle on the back foot at the end of this feature.
I still got my boy Soto here. Looking at Hilbert there. He hasn't been leading the race. He's looking at Soto in his rear view there. A couple of conservative line choices. Make sure he's defending. I think Soto, I'm not sold that Soto's out yet.
No, I still think it's very much anybody's game. Carlisle going to need to hammer down that 71 machine to close that 7/10 deficit. as the fans are appreciating the good racing as well. David Moreno, hopefully I said that right, with Pit Crew Racing, just enjoying the great action. And Soto has caught back up to Hilbert. Carwile still a half-second back. We've got a little bit less than a half lap left to go, and I have no idea how this is going to pan out.
Soto's got one chance to make this happen. He's got to set up Oak Tree perfectly, and he's got to get a run down the straight.
Now, do you think that's going to be the move, to try and make the pass after Oak Tree and defend, or is it going to be somebody like Carwile that tries a draft slingshot through the final corner like he did the lap prior?
That could be. Carwile's close. 3/10 behind Russell. Oh, Russell moving to the outside. Oh, Russell's got the run.
So Soto thinks he can make it happen here. If he can take it over, he's going to go into defensive mode. Hilbert's not having any of it, though. There's contact between the two.
Through the grass, and he's sideways.
Soto and Carwile.
Soto also spun.
No. Yes.
Carwile's through.
Carwile's going to win it here. Hilbert and Soto. Carwile's going to run uncontested.
Taking advantage of the battle. Carwile slips through. Hilbert finishing ahead of Soto in the chaos.
Well, it's not done yet. Carwile's just about to cross the line, locking it up. And you're right, Hilbert is going to be able to hold on to second here. Soto is going to finish about 3.5 tenths back.
Wow.
What an insane finish.
What a great last lap. I see Andrew Gross making a move in the back there. Oh, actually, he's down further than I thought.
Yeah, he's got Michael Schmidt. Those are two drivers that have both had a series of unfortunate events happening here tonight, but they're going to race through the line about 3/10 separating the two. Schmidt's going to try and work that draft, losing a couple of tenths there, but Gross pushed a little bit wide, and it looks like Gross is going to hold on to ninth, while Michael Schmidt locks up a top 10 here tonight.
Now, I got to see what happened to Richard Scheib. I think the last time we checked in with him, he was up in 6th.
Not seeing any crash reports on my software.
Looks like Kucera got around him. They're in the S's there at the end of that last lap while we were watching the chaos with the top 3. Heck of a race, though.
We're going to try and get our top 3 drivers up here into victory lane. We're waiting on Carwile, Hilbert, and Soto. The format tonight is going to be, I'm going to ask these drivers a question. We're all going to hear Mr. Nick ask them a question. And then we're going to fire it back to me as we try and get these drivers up here into victory lane. And while we're in victory lane waiting for these drivers, I want to give another quick shout as well to Superlap, located on the world-renowned Woodward Avenue, Berkeley, Michigan. Superlap is a sim drive studio, a space to meet and compete. With professional-grade racing simulators, they are premier racing and drive experience venue. They will help you achieve your motorsport goals with education, practice, and training. And I can reiterate, sim training, so it's very affordable. Maybe you're familiar with the world's most famous international Formula One series? Well, their best driver is a proponent of sim training and racing, so if Max Verstappen uses a sim, shouldn't you, the regular guy? You can race and practice against an AI roster, go head-to-head with other humans, or both. They also offer league racing just like us at the DRSCCA. Check them out, superlap.world for details. Looks like, Nick, we've got Carwile still waiting on Soto. And waiting on Hilbert as well. Looks like we've got Soto. So I think we're going to get things started here. With Mr. Russell Soto join us in the booth. Russell, welcome to the top 3. What an absolute dogfight you guys were having.
Yeah, absolutely. I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming the entire race. They were all trying to make a train to gap the cars behind, but yeah, I didn't expect the last couple of corners there to happen quite the way they did, but it's racing.
That's a very politically correct way to put that, Russell.
Yeah.
Man, Russell, that was a heck of a race there. You were my choice there for the win. Apologies if I gave you a little bit of commentator's curse there. Hopefully that's not what ended up happening. But man, heck of a run. Those all those laps, and definitely got a little spicy there at the end with Hilbert. I think on the penultimate lap there, he got ahead of you there for a sec, but you were able to pull it back heading into the last lap. How what were you feeling as you were heading into that last lap with all that drama?
Yeah, I mean, and thank you for the choice award, Nick. For sure, it was a fun race, but yeah, the entire time I was just trying to do as much as I can to make a gap. You know, be consistent, drop those lap times down. You know, adapt to the tires as they wear in the car as it gets lighter on fuel. But I mean, the draft is just inescapable with this track. It's very hard to get out of it, and I knew that the fight was going to come in those last couple of laps, so I did what I could to try to keep my nose clean. Fortunately, didn't quite work out towards the end, but I mean, overall, it was a well-driven race, I'd say. There wasn't much I could do.
Well, Russell,
Absolutely.
good to have you. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, Nick. Russell, good to have you back up here in the top 3, starting the season off strong. I know you're always a championship contender and have those points in mind, so cool to have you up here for the first time, grabbing some momentum this season. And before I let you go, unwind, who do you want to give a shout out to that helped make tonight's third-place finish possible for you?
I'd like to give a shout out to DRSCCA as usual. You know, this is a great league. I encourage more people to join. It's been amazing having all these guys up here racing every Tuesday and now Thursday night. And I'd love to give a shout out to my family back home in New Jersey. They're always supporting me. My mom coming back from the Philippines recently, and all the sponsors of the league, including Superlab, Wilton, and Michigan Turn Marshals, as well as Waterford Hills.
Awesome. Soto, good to have you back up here, buddy. Hope to have you up next week. And if I don't see you, best of luck on Thursday as well.
Thank you very much, James.
All right, Nick, that was Mr. Russell Soto bringing us home in the third place spot. Up next, we got Ray Hilbert, the number 33 machine.
What's up?
Ray,
How are you guys?
my heart rate was up. I'm sweating slightly. I went through all the water up here in the broadcast booth, and I was just calling the action with Nick. I can't imagine what it was like wheeling those things for the entire 30 minutes.
Yeah, they were quite the fidget spinners at the end.
So, Ray, what caused that? Was that a tire wear combined with a lighter car?
Oh no, I just panicked and locked up when he kind of came over on the front nose, and then I was like, "Uh-oh, we're going left." And
Ray,
then
and
we
you
went
had
in, like,
you had Ryan right behind you too. It was beautiful.
Yes, Ryan was a bro, giving the bump, little bump and run.
Oh man. And that's, you sat there for a long time behind Russell there. You had the move for a second there in roller coaster on that penultimate lap, and Russell got you back. How were you feeling as you were crossing the line to finish to hit that last lap?
Yo, I thought we had it, and then we didn't, and then I thought we had it again, and then we didn't. So yeah, it was quite the roller coaster through roller coaster.
And then you were coming down that main straight there, watching Russell get closer and then pop out.
Yeah, and then just was able to have it for half the lap, and then it came down to that last straight, and knew the draft was quite killer with these. So yeah, it was quite the fun kind of run down to the end.
Definitely. Fantastic racing though.
Ray, tons
Thank
of fun.
you.
Tons of fun for us to watch. I can't imagine how much fun it was for you to drive out there. Before I let you go and celebrate this second place finish, who do you want to give a shout out to that helped make it happen in this season opener?
Yeah, I'm gonna give it out to Ryan for the bump. Got the bump and run.
Awesome, Ray. Pleasure having you, man. Glad to see you up here in the top 3, and hopefully we'll have you up here more throughout the season.
Yes, thank you. Looking forward to it.
All right, that was Ray Hilbert. Join us in the second place spot. But up next, the man, the myth, the bump drafting legend, Ryan Carlisle. Welcome back to the top spot.
Thanks. Yeah, that was crazy ending. I wasn't quite expecting that, honestly.
Now, Ryan, last season at VIR, you had a little bit of front end damage from all the bump drafting you were doing over the course of the race, and at first I thought, you know what, he's dialed it back a little bit. He's not as aggressive as pushing, and then looked like you were right back there, nose to gearbox throughout the entire race and helping to extend that lead you guys had in the top 3.
Yeah, I figured there was no reason to battle, and honestly, I think you could win the race from third place on the back straightaway if you're close enough. I wasn't quite close enough on the last lap, but it still still worked out.
Ryan, we could see it too. You were cool and calm and calculated that entire race, sticking up in that top three there. You guys doing a little bump here, little bump there, and yeah, no, and you were ready for that, ready for the chaos, weren't you?
Yeah, there was really was no reason since we were pulling away from everybody. No reason to panic, and these things are bricks, so they're fairly easy to stay in the draft. So it was the struggle was trying to just make sure stayed locked in when you're just kind of laying, taking it a little bit easy. You can lose focus, but managed to avoid that.
Absolutely.
Well, Ryan, super cool. After watching you stalk the top two, squeezing through at the end, a nice clean race car, a first win of the season. And tonight, my friend, you've got the privilege, the pleasure, the final send-offs of the night. Who do you want to give a shout out to that helped put that number 71 machine in the numero uno position?
Well, the weekend before last, I drove to VIR, drove my car down. So I'd like to thank my dad for helping me drive down because it's a 10-hour drive, probably more than 10 hours with the truck, and my mom made it out as well. So I'd like to thank them.
Well, very cool, Ryan. Glad to see it. The racing continues to be a family affair, and we're out of questions, but I gotta ask: did the VIR track experience help you out here tonight?
Yeah, I think it did. I really, since I was trying to win it was like a time trial event. I was trying to win, so I did a lot of studying and stuff, and I actually found a few things I was doing wrong from last season. So I think it helped out more the studying, but it was definitely a lot of fun.
Well, awesome. Super cool to have you up here. Congratulations on a massive win, and hopefully one of many more to come here this season.
Thank you.
That was Ryan Carwile bringing it home in that number one spot. Nick, it was a wild race. The top three, nose to tail for 30 minutes straight. Didn't matter if it was for 5th or 15th. Every time we looked, there was side-by-side action, and what great racing here tonight. Run me through your final thoughts of the season opener.
Man, I think you were right on the commentator's curse. Sorry about that, Russell. Again, watching those three guys in the top spot battle it out the entire race was so satisfying. I think Andrew Gross was putting in great work in there. You can tell he's come a long way. Richard Scheib lost a little bit at the end there, but also doing a great job. And I'm excited for the next 6 races.
Well, looking forward to having you back in the booth. It has been an absolute pleasure. On behalf of Team Goon Squad, my name has been James East, accompanied by Mr. Nick Rennell. Thank you guys so much for spending your Tuesday night with us. We'll be here all season long, and we'll see you at the next one. Have a great night, everybody.
See you guys.